2:37 remaining. He makes his move. Young forces it up and in! CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Lai, oh, everyone for the Black Bears finding the bottom of the net. Leaky with a big steal. Leaky for three. That goes in. What a play.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome once again to the ABL Basketball League here in Singtel, or from Singtel, as we bring you a regular season game between the visiting San Miguel Alab Pilipinas and the home team, Singapore Slingers, right here at the OCBC Arena in the Lion City of Singapore, as we look at some of the merchandise that some of the fans are gulping up in large quantities here. And of course, it's a family game, families from everywhere here at the OCBC Arena, and there is a backdrop of fans still steadily streaming in for today's game. It's a big one. If you're on either of these teams, you will know what we mean. Singapore Slingers confirmation at 1-4 at the bottom of the league right now, hoping to turn it around against the Alab Pilipinas, leading the league at 5-2. Chuck Schreiner along with Scotty McKinnon. So happy you can spend part of your Sunday afternoon with us here in Singapore as we get ready to do battle. And I know it is a cliche, but both these teams need wins. If we look at the team standings right now, Mono Vampire and San Miguel, well, they are leading the way at 5-2, followed by Taipei, Kuala Lumpur, Formosa, Macau, Saigon, and way at the bottom of the Singapore Slingers at 1-4. Unlucky in a lot of ways. 3 of those games they lost by single digits, so we'll talk more about that later. San Miguel have been eating up large chunks of real estate in leading the league in scoring, averaging over 95 points a game. Singapore, of course, perennial leaders in defense as we look at the Singapore Slingers right there. So next 5 games, Macau Black Bears, they will be, for the Slingers, they will be on the road, followed by Mono Vampire. That'll be a game you can catch right here on Singtel on January 19th. That's a week from today at the OCBC Arena. Saigon again at OCBC Arena, followed by Hong Kong and San Miguel. These 2 teams on the road. So that's what's going to be happening for the Singapore Slingers in the next 5 games, all through Chinese New Year. By the way, Chinese New Year just around the corner. Hong Kong Eastern, that will be in Hong Kong. So after today on the 23rd, a little bit of a break for Alab Pilipinas, then they'll be back at home in Mono Vampires. Then they will travel to Thailand before hosting Singapore Slingers, and then Kuala Lumpur also in Malaysia. So major road trip for Alab Pilipinas coming up in the month of January and part of the first week of February as well. So those are the next 5 games for San Miguel. So previous games, well, for Singapore, it wasn't all good news. In fact, not good news at all, as they went down at the hands of the Saigon Heat, 79-73. Delvin Go in a losing cause, 14 points, 9 boards, as he continues to make his case to be one of the leading point getters for perhaps a MVP season for a local player. On the other side of the ball, a little bit better luck for them. They come away with a 101-96 win over the Fubon Braves. Caught right there, 5 points, 2 assists, 2 of 5 from the floor. There he is, a little leaner in the lane for Alab Pilipinas. So a winning match for them their last game. Double barrel action for Alab Pilipinas. Check this out, Khalif Wyatt scored 28 in his last game. And also King, also a new guy that they got to replace Blackman. Sam Guara, San Miguel Pilipinas. He is a big man, 7'5". The Maltese is a machine on the inside, and it's tough to block him. McLean will have that duty inflicted on him today. There's a look-in pass for him. Guara doing the rest. Very, very tough to play him man-to-man. You'll see a lot of doubling up on him tonight. 26 points, 14 boards in that win over Taipei Fubon Braves. That was the last game that Mono Vampire played, or check that, Alab Pilipinas play. There he is. You'll see that a lot of times. Second and third attempts for DeGuire, and he has a lot of tenacity. Other side ball, big and small. Well, how about for Singapore? Anthony McLean does it from inside. Marcus Elliott from outside, and Marcus Elliott is a perennial favorite. He was the league MVP. Xavier Alexander from the Slingers. A down game for him, carrying a little bit of an injury. Look for him to rebound. He's had a couple days of rest. That's the sort of thing that he can do, splitting the defense right in half on his way to the 9 points he had last game. There he is on the block, and Singapore back in the open court where they love to be against Saigon, and there's a finish for Alexander in transition. Xavier Alexander, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 8 steals. As we look at the coaches for Singapore Slingers, Coach Neo, he's been around since the inception of this team, and also the great job that Michael Johnson has done, the CEO, assistant coach, and does just about everything but fold down the chairs before the game. Jimmy Alapog, Coach Jimmy, as he is fondly called by the Alab Pilipinas players. They love him. He is a coach's, he's a player's coach, and a genius at calling X's and O's, and man, what a team he's got to work with. So Alapog calling the signals today for Alab Pilipinas, as he has the last couple of years. Last year not making it to the finals, but this year hoping with the stacked team that he's got that he can turn that around, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. So the teams will be coming in here any minute. Again, Chuck Schreiner and Scotty McKinnon with you. And we're waiting for these teams to enter the arena. So we'll stop and have an interview with a couple of players that we managed to corral before the game today. And here we go.
You just got to believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, because these are the things that, you practice, and, you just got to deliver it to the game, and I delivered to the game. So these are the things that, I always practice, during practice, and I'm just going to deliver to the game.
Health-wise, is everybody okay? It looked like Xavier might have been limping around just a little bit last game. Has he had time to recover?
Well, I mean, 3 games in 5 days, we got travel and all that. Fatigue is definitely going to be one reason. But we take that, and I think, he's recovering well. Everything is okay, and we had a good 2 days, 3 days rest. So I think we'll be good for today.
I mean, it's really always. I want to say that we're blessed to be in this situation to have that many players. Coach Jimmy is a great coach, and I give a lot of props to our coaching staff. We're dealing with a lot of great players, but I'm blessed and I'm grateful, and I thank God that every single one of these players on the team accepts the role that they're in, and when their times come, everybody is ready once we touch the court. And we have such a young team. Everybody understands this position, and everybody just wants to win, and I feel like that's the main goal of this team, which makes it jail.
I was going to say you're 5-2 at the top of the league, tied with Mono Vampire, but you're a really, really very young team. You're playing well beyond your years. You think you'll be able to sustain that?
Oh yeah, possibly. I feel like it's a great deal. We just have to stay locked in. Like people say, we're young. A lot of criticism comes with being with that, but I feel like we're experiencing our own ways. We bring a lot to the table, and I feel like we're really focused. We're really focused on the task at hand, and we take it game by game, and I feel like that's a plus for us.
Okay, so Delvin Go on the Singapore Slingers, and Nick King, the new guy who came in to replace Ronaldo Bachman just a couple of days ago or a week ago. And what a statement he's made right off the get-go. Only 24 years of age, but already averaging 21, 7.9, and 4.3 points, rebounds, and assists. As we look at the Alab Pilipinas team. And here come your Singapore Slingers being introduced right now. We'll start off with the role players first. Desmond O will be his last year with the Singapore Slingers. Has had limited action this year, not like last year when he was the starter at guard. There he is right there, 33 years of age. What a great deal he's meant to the Singapore Slingers through the ages. Tae Ding Lung, number 6. Ung Jin Lun, you'll be getting some court time. Lim Jun Yan, there he is, defensive specialist. Again, the heart and the soul of this national team. Remember, the Singapore Slingers are made up primarily of their national team. Here comes number 22. Kelvin Lim hit a big shot for Singapore last game against Saigon. So these guys gradually getting more and more minutes in the game as we like to see our local players. There's the big man right there, a crowd favorite, Lavan Raj, the 19-year-old, 6'7", 255 pounds. They hope that he can eat up some minutes. this year at that low post position. Remember taking over from Stefan Lowe. Some of the minutes that he had last year is Raj. Starting members now, Marcus Elliott, 35 years old. Wasn't but 2 or 3 years ago he was the MVP of the league. He's starting to hit on all cylinders, starting to shoot a lot better. He had 16 rebounds the last game against Saigon. Leon Queck, Scotty will be talking a bit later on about what range he can give the Slingers on the defensive end with those long arms, and there is the best player in the league. Proof of it is the MVP award that he garnered in the 2018-19 season. Xavier Alexander, there's McLean, Anthony McLean. Had a pretty good game last time. Now, the last time these two teams met, he had 25 and 13, so hoping he can replicate that. Delvin Go, can't say enough about Delvin, the improvements that he's shown through the last few years, especially going from right to left. He can even dribble a little bit now, so Singapore Slingers and the San Miguel Alab Pilipinas getting ready to do battle here in Scotty. Two teams. Let's talk about Alab Pilipinas first. And they are loaded as a team.
Oh, and Alab Pilipinas, their depth. We haven't even talked about the cerebral assassin himself, their point guard, Jason Brickman, the NCAA Division I all-time leading assist maker. Alab not only is the highest scoring team in the league, they lead the league in assists at 26.3 as well. And I believe that is Jason Brickman's ability to not only control the pace of the game, but deliver the ball to his players on time in the right place to allow them to be successful. And look for Brickman to try and pick up this pace early. Alab's going to want a fast game. They're going to want an up and down game. Singapore is going to want to try and slow it down and keep this in the half court and keep it a low scoring game.
Look at our 3 referees there. Thank you very much, guys. You do the job that you do week in and week out for the ABL. As we look at the Singapore Slingers, they will be in their customary home whites. We look at the starting lineup for San Miguel. Scotty was talking about Jason Brickman, the league leader in assist right now at 9.6. Jeremiah Gray, you got to see him, a jumping jack. Sam DeGuara, we talked about him a little bit earlier, 7'5". Nick King, we had the interview with him early, and of course, Khalif Wyatt, who has played in just about every arena around the world. He's also played in China as well, where he was a star for the Guangdong Southern Tigers, a perennial powerhouse there. And so that is the lineup for San Miguel Alab, but they have a lot of guys on the bench that could easily start for them as well. And the trick is Jimmy, Coach Jimmy is going to have to navigate through this, Scotty, is finding minutes for these role players that, as we said before, some of them are just as good as some of the starters. So here's the starters for the Singapore Slingers: Leon Queck, Marcus Elliott, Anthony McLean, Delvin Go, and Xavier Alexander. Xavier looked like he was suffering from a little bit of fatigue last time. Remember, the Slingers played 3 games in 5 days, and plus the travel, that'll do it to you every time. Slingers a little bit sluggish in these last 3 games. Remember, they didn't start their season until mid-December because of the SEA Games, where their national team had appointments in Manila to play basketball, where they finished 4th, a reasonable 4th in that competition. So they should be fit now and ready to go, and hopefully try and get off the snide. As we said before, they're 1-4 as opposed to the Alab Pilipinas at 5-2. And Scotty, you know, Alab come in here with a lot of momentum. A lot of people think that they are the odds-on favorite. What will Singapore have to do to make this a game?
Yeah, and I think Singapore's going to have to slow it down. They lead the league in rebounds at 46, over 46 a game. They lead the league in block shots with big Anthony McLean patrolling the middle there. Singapore's going to have to play a half-court game. They want to keep this game slow, and they want to keep the score in the 70s or low 80s. If this gets up to a 95-point game like Alab is averaging right now, this is going to be very difficult for the Singapore Slingers to win. So they want to keep it slow, they want to keep the pace slow, and they want to keep that score down throughout all 4 quarters.
Interesting, we talked about Alab putting all those points on the board. They averaged 95.7. However, they give up 97 a game, which is the league worst. So a classic matchup between an offensive team, as you say, Scott, that likes to go up and down the court, and a defensive team that likes to slow things up, although Singapore traditionally has been good once they get in the open court, and why not with the likes of Xavier Alexander. So just about ready to get underway there. As you look at big Anthony McLean, number 21, in the white jersey, he will be jumping up against Sam DeGuara, 28-year-old Maltese, 7'5", averaging 16.4 and 10.2 rebounds a game. So there is Gray there, Jeremiah Gray, only 23 years of age, and a lot has been said about how young Alab Pilipinas are. They make up for that in boundless energy, and I'm no doubt you'll be seeing some of that. So Singapore, you're right, Scotty, will have to corral some of that energy and slow it down and turn that energy in their direction if they're going to win tonight. And they have been close but no cigar last time. Ball tipped away in the backboard. Singapore is going to get it. Delvin go to bring it down and get it over in the hands of Xavier Alexander. And here he comes off the right-hand side. Popping up is Queck. Across the baseline goes Elliott. Elliott with the ball. Couple of dribbles. Backs it up. He can shoot from there. Has Queck still on that left-hand side. Nice quick hands in there by Gray. From behind the block. And right into the hands of DeGuara. So first turnover of the game. Nice anticipation there by Jeremiah Gray.
Yeah, and that's Jeremiah Gray. The advantage Alab has is they have a local who can guard imports. He guarded O.J. Mail all game last day. A great block from behind for Jeremiah Gray.
Brickman wide open there. Khalif Wyatt thought about it. Waited too long. Now Delvin go over on him. Little spin move inside. Loses it. And off to the races goes Xavier Alexander. Is going to take it right to the cup for the first score of the game.
No one better in this league going downhill in transition than Xavier Alexander. A great start to the game for him right there.
So quick lead for the Slingers. Brickman off to Wyatt. Wyatt looking inside. Good ball movement by Alab Pilipinas. King will slash inside. Now bumping up against Queck. And ball out of bounds. Let's see where it goes. It's going to stay with Alab Pilipinas.
And you can already tell Xavier Alexander has a lot more pep in his step right now. A lot of activity on the defensive end. Got another touch on that ball. And that's very positive for the Slingers going forward here in this game.
Yeah, Alexander, as we said, looked a little bit worse for wear last game. Again, playing 3 games in 5 days. We usually do that. There's a steal right there by Alexander. Lead pass. Nice. Right over the shoulder. A little bit too far, though. LA's going to have to slow it up. Nice job by Alab Pilipinas. Get back on defense. Entry pass there to Delvin. Go looking for cutters. McLean a little bit late showing there. Go with the right hand.
Great recognition by the Slingers to go into Delvin Go. He has a mismatch inside against Khalif Wyatt. Fantastic baby hook over the top with his left hand there.
McGuire gives it off to Gray. Gray working against Elliott. Long 3 by Brickman. High up over the standard. It'll go out of bounds. So possession will be in the hands of Singapore. Singapore all through the season so far, the young season so far, Scotty, have raced out to big leads, 13, 15 points against this same team, only to get reeled in. So let's see what they can do today as far as keeping it close and tight. Elliott inside. First touch of the game from McLean. Looks in. Elliott again. Delvin Go on the low post. He's got a book in on the other side of McLean, who's standing there. Oh, nice little spin move that time, or a hesitation move by Elliott, and away it goes, 1 and out, and back comes Brickman and company, still pushing the ball, giving it to Guire, running over, no foul, count it.
There's Jason Brickman controlling the pace again, gets it, pushes it down the court, nice little drop pass to Sam DeGuire for a very nifty finish.
Well, fans wanting a offensive foul there. Alexander would have thought that he had position. Not so sure of that.
You can already tell Xavier Alexander is much more aggressive this game. Gets the ball, direct line drive, gets going downhill and draws that foul on Nick King.
Well, before last game, Xavier had been averaging almost a triple-double. Second in the league in assists with over 7, averaging almost 9 rebounds and 21 points. Elliott, in his face is Gray. Delvin Go goes to the left foot. 3 on the shot clock, bullying his way inside, can't get it to fall. A obtuse angle for him. Back come Alab. Foot was on the line. I think that's a 2.
Khalif
They're
Wyatt.
give him a 3, actually.
Khalif Wyatt is a special shooter. The University of Temple Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. He is a tremendous, tremendous spot-up shooter. Slingers have to get a contest on him.
Can't give him space at all. Back-up jumper that time by Elliott is off the mark. Back they come again. That was King leading it. Inside, DeGuire draped on him, and a foul. Late whistle there. McLean will be called for the foul.
Yeah, Sam DeGuire did a really good job of rim running and then pinning Anthony McLean underneath the rim. They're very deep position. Once Sam DeGuire at 7'6" at his size there gets the basketball on that position, it's going to be an easy dunk or a layup every single time.
Last time these two teams met, remember, Alab Pilipinas winning 90-83. Singapore led by 15, and a lot of that was because of the job that Anthony McLean did on the inside. He came off that game with 25 points and 13 boards. 1 of 2, and that's about where DeGuire sits in free throw. By the way, free throw shooting, for keeping track, the average Singapore shooting 66.1 and Alab shooting 75.3. I say that because Singapore needs to improve in that category. There are those who thought that they could have won had they done a little bit better job shooting free throws, but right there is another thing that Singapore needs to improve, and Alexander filling it up from Threesville that time. Singapore now with a 1 point lead. They're going to give them 2 for that. Singapore beyond the arc, Scotty, only shooting 28.3%.
Yeah, that's a really good sign for Xavier Alexander. They're going to go underneath the ball screen right there. You can see they're going underneath every single ball screen. That's the work he's put in, and hitting that jump shot is a big plus to start this game.
Now Wyatt pushing through on Xavier Alexander, who extends his forearm, gets called for his first foul of the game. That'll put, actually that is number 55, Nick King, who will go to the line.
Yeah, Nick King, being a lefty, is very deceptive. He loves coming back to that left hand, and he's very good with his touch and his finish around the rim when he gets back to that left hand.
Nick King, what a pedigree he's got. Played for the Memphis Tigers, Alabama Crimson Tide, Middle Tennessee, D-League, cup of coffee with the Celtics in the NBA. Again, he replaced the very popular Ronaldo Bachman. So 7-7 lead pass to McLean, who finishes up beating the defender down the court. That's a nice sign. That's what McLean lacked last week, Scotty. He's going to have to pick that up a little bit and stay consistent with it.
Yeah, and that's an advantage he has over Sam DeGuara there. Beat him down the rim, get a nice little layup.
And the steal there by Alexander and the finish by Leon Quet. Singapore with a 4-point lead. Quickly, Brickman gets the ball in the hands of Khalif Wyatt. That's going to be way off the mark. Good defense there by Quet. Back comes Elliott and company. Elliott leading the offense right there at the point guard position. Alexander, why not? Wide open look for 3.
That's the second ball screen Alab Pilipinas has gone under. Xavier Alexander, one dribble, rhythm dribble right into that three-pointer. So great start shooting for X here.
We talked about Singapore needing to improve in that category outside the arc, and Alexander doing that right there, busting through his team.
Nick King back to that left hand. Great little rocker step to get himself going towards the rim.
First step made the difference there. Alexander already with 8 points. Here's Elliott. Alexander in the middle of the court, accelerates back outside to McLean, who's going to fire up a 2 off the mark. That's probably not where they want him to be shooting from. King again on the break. Around Alexander, off the glass, unlucky there. He beat Alexander on that next to the last step. Ball in the hands now of Elliott, still waiting for him to get off this game. Back to the left hand, stop and pop. Going to be off the mark, and a push down below. I think that's going to go on number 21, DeGuara.
Yeah, this is something that Sam DeGuara struggled with in the ABL. He's such a force inside. Sometimes he takes foolish and fouls that he should not take. If he would have just stayed straight up there with his length, with his size, it would have been very difficult for Anthony McLean to pursue that offensive rebound.
So a timeout. Coach Jimmy wants to talk it over with his troops. Good start for the Singapore Slingers, and when we come back, it'll be Anthony McLean at the line, or no, it'll be Singapore ball on the near side. And Scotty, some good stuff for Singapore early on. They're doing it inside and outside and look pretty good in transition, all behind, of course, the X-Man, Xavier Alexander.
Yeah, and you can see the difference right now for Xavier Alexander. His activity on the defensive end has led to his success on the offensive end. 8 points here to start the game, including 2 long jump shots where Alab has gone underneath the ball screen. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Coach Jimmy makes that adjustment right now, because X has hit a couple of long, or 1 long 2 and a 3-pointer, to see if they go over top of that ball screen now or they continue to go under it on X.
Now last week we saw that the high ball screen caused a plethora of problems for the Singapore Slingers, so this looks like an area that the coaching staff has worked very hard and diligently with Singapore during the week off. As we look at the point totals right now, Wyatt with 3, DeGuara with 3, King with 3 on the other side of the ball. Xavier Alexander leading all scorers with a Quet with a pair. Delvin Go with 2 as well. So we want to wish everybody a coming Chinese New Year. Gong Si Fai Chai, excuse the pronunciation for that, but you get the point. And in a week's time, it'll be, gosh, it looks just like Christmas was over and Chinese New Year right upon us, and we know that that's a huge, probably the biggest holiday of the year for a lot of our listeners out there in Asia. There is Xavier Alexander right there, as we talked about his 8 points, 2 of them in transition and a couple of jumpers himself, 1 from beyond the arc. And Sam DeGuara, who just was whistled for his first foul. So Singapore ball from the baseline, not on the side. So Alexander waiting for the break. He's got McLean there. Instead he kicks it out to Delvin Go. Quek lurking out there on that right-hand side. There's that high ball screen we talked about again. Alexander forcing his way inside. Whoa. I think they're going to get a traveling call there against Alexander.
Jeremiah Gray's doing a great job defensively right now on Marcus Elliott. His length, his jumping jack ability, like you talked, his athletic ability. Every single time Elliott comes off of a ball screen or a pin down, there's always a contest there from Jeremiah Gray.
Singapore so far doing a good job of containing Alab Pilipinas. As we said before, Scotty said that they want to get out in the open court just as quickly as they possibly can in the game now. Jordan Heading, the 23-year-old, 6'2", 180 pounds. Inside from behind, nice job by Delvin Go. Partially blocking that. Here comes Alexander splitting the defense. He accelerates in the lane, back outside, and a foul. That will be a touch foul, and that will go on number 2, Jeremiah Gray.
Yeah, and there's X again going downhill. As soon as he gets that ball in transition, a great little stop, takes it the length of the court, and that is problems for Alab Pilipinas. Anytime X or Xavier Alexander is in the key, good things are going to happen for the Singapore Slingers.
We talked about Jordan Heading, number 15, just checking into the game for Alab Pilipinas. He's averaging 8.7 points a game, 3.1 boards, and 2.1 assists.
And he's a knockdown shooter, Chuck. Jordan Heading is a very, very smooth shooter.
Whipped over to Jun, who's just checked into the game, looking for space. Back outside, Delvin Go, playing at the high post, bullying his way inside. Spin move off the glass. Narrow miss there, oozing off from the crowd. Back very quickly comes Jeremiah Gray. Stop block from the free throw line is going to be off. Gang rebounding, Singapore. Xavier Alexander coming down with it. Elliott, Alexander from Threesville is going to be off the mark. So 1 and out. Brickman with the ball in his hand. Quick pass downstairs, number 3. We'll check that. That is Jeremiah Gray with the quick release, no good. Opposite side, Elliott. You can see them trying to feed Elliott. They definitely want to get him on the board as quickly as possible. He needs to shoot. He's the sort of guy that is hot, streaky, but once he gets going, he can hit 3 or 4 in a row. Delvin draws the foul, and that will go on Lawrence Domingo, who has come into the game. And Lawrence Domingo, tell you what, he is like kryptonite to Singapore, Scotty. We've seen time and time again he comes in and he has been the difference maker more times than once with Singapore Slingers, especially when it gets close and late.
Yeah, and it's his physicality and effort. He is all about attitude and effort. You have to love Lawrence Domingo as a basketball player. If you're a coach, these are the guys you want to coach. Someone who always gives 110%, always pursues the basketball, and is always willing to take any challenge. You can see he was matched up on Anthony McLean there, who probably has about 7 inches and 95 pounds on him, and Lawrence Domingo is always up to that challenge, so you have to respect him as a competitor and as a basketball player.
That's a 14th foul on Alab Pilipinas. Delvin go with the line for 2. He snatches the first one. 6-point lead, biggest lead of the game for Singapore thus far. 1 of 2. But back comes Brickman, streaking down that left-hand side, getting the step on number 13, Lim Jun Yuan, and what we have. Blocking foul, that will go on Lim Jun Yuan.
And that's Jason Brickman's intelligence there. He initiated all the contact. He was going down north-south. He sold it, and that's a foul. That's very, very intelligent basketball play from Jason Brickman.
Around the high screen he goes. Does Brickman in the lane. Sky hook in the lane, also off the mark. Louis Vigil in the game. Check that was Heading and trying to go glass that time. Oh, Delvin goes, staying with it. 2 kicks at the can't get it to fall. Nice job of pursuit underneath the basket by Gray. King now. Back outside it goes. Here comes this high screen. Oh, pick and roll.
Yeah, Jason Brickman very, very smartly asked Lawrence Domingo to set the ball screen so that now he can attack Anthony McLean, the big, on the switch there.
Not enough communication for Singapore on that play. Jun back outside, downstairs it goes. Elliott, foul underneath. Pushing and shoving. You can see the mismatch under there. I think that Jeremiah Gray got caught up in that and had to panicked a little bit and started pushing and shoving on McLean.
Yeah, now Coach Jimmy's put them into a little bit of a matchup zone here. With DeGuara out of the game, they're matching up in this zone and putting a lot of pressure on Anthony McLean now. So we'll see if Anthony McLean gets a touch, because he is a huge advantage right now without Sam DeGuara, the 7'6" Sam DeGuara on the court.
We said before in that last game, that 90-83 loss back on December 15th, the maiden game for Singapore. McLean came up Very big, 25 points and 13 boards. Seemed to struggle just a little bit last week, as a lot of these Slingers did. Again, that being a function of playing 3 games in 5 days, plus the travel. And certainly showed, especially in the last part of the game, as McLean hits both. So 6-point lead again for the Slingers. McLean with 4.
As you can see, Sam DeGuara quickly back in the game for Alab Pilipinas and Coach Jimmy.
Brickman's again down that left-hand side. Rosser in the game now. Long 3, yes, nothing but net. Jordan heading on the fadeaway.
Pure shooter off of the flare screen. Great set, great play called, and Jordan heading is a shooter.
You mentioned last week, Scotty, that this league, like most of the other leagues, is outside shot by Delvin Goes off. McLean, nice job of corralling that one. Elliott, stop and pop. Yeah.
And man, Marcus Elliott has really shot the ball a lot better after those first 3 games. You can see he's found his stroke back and that confidence is back. And it's really nice to see the 2017 ABL MVP get his stroke back.
Knocked away, nice hands there by number 13, Lim Jun-Yuan. I was getting ready to say, Scotty, the 3-point, just like all the other leagues in the world, is becoming more and more important. You've got to have the guys that can knock that down, especially at crucial times. And Singapore doing a better job tonight of converting.
Yeah, and that's the reason they're up 6 points right now, is they've been able to hit that outside shot, and that forces Alab to come out and guard the 3-point line, and now they get those downhill drives and those north-south drives and attacks to the rim.
Talked about Louis Vigil. He's in the game now, the 28-year-old, averaging 6.6 a game, and a foul right there. That was Heading who hit the deck.
And this is the depth you're talking about. Louis Vigil is a flat-out scorer. A very, very good collegiate basketball player in the Philippines, as well as Caracut. Caracut just graduated from De La Salle University, and this guy's a player. Like Coach Jimmy has the ability to bring a ton of players off the bench who can play, contribute, and score.
And they are all young, playing with that young energy. Rolls that one in, first of 2. That cuts the lead to 5, 2015 in favor of the Slingers. They drew first blood. They led 2-0 and haven't looked back. Full house here at the OCBC Arena, and somebody went in the lane too fast. I believe they might have to do that again. No.
And this is
a lane violation for Sam DeGuara.
This is Sam DeGuara's problem. He picks up another foul, and this is a foolish foul. He's 90 feet from the rim. It's over the back. The guy hasn't boxed out, and now Sam DeGuara has 2 fouls. And this is a big defining play here in the first quarter. There was no need for that. He needs to be in the basketball game for Alab to be successful, and now he has to come out again.
Yeah, smart move by Coach Jimmy to get him out of there. Checking back in will be Nick King. King jumping jack the zone. We had a nice interview with him, beginning a very nice young man. 6'8", 225 center, and talk about basketball template for him. Memphis State, Alabama, Middle Tennessee State, D-League with the Lakers, NBA action in the spring, at least with the Celtics. He had a cup of coffee then, and again replaced Ronaldo Bachman. So 2 of 2, Singapore defying that 66% free throw shooting. Have been very good here in the first half. Look-in pass. That went to Rosser. Still Rosser, over to Gray now. Back outside to King. King gives it up to Brickman. Brickman, opposite side. Hesitation move, trying to step through traffic. Did everything well but score. Rosser again, nice move, knocked away by Alexander. Elliott on the move, still Elliott, spin move inside, can't finish. And a foul. That might go against Singapore. In fact, it does. They're going to say Elliott pushed off.
Yeah, and you can see the coaching battles already started, Chuck. Singapore's now fallen into a 1-3-1 half-court trap, which falls back into a 2-3, and they're just trying to show a different look compared to what Alab is doing offensively.
Well, here's the thing. Elliott's still arguing, and the referee sort of playing to the crowd, too, sticking out his elbow. Obviously, the referee getting the brunt of it here with the crowd booing and accentuating why he called that for the crowd more than anything else, sticking out his elbow. No need for that for the referee to get involved with the game. He made the call, that's it.
Yeah, and that's a big call. That's Marcus Elliott's second foul of the game here. So similar to DeGuara, Elliott's now on the bench with 2 fouls.
21.4 to go here in the first quarter. Lead cut to 6.
You have to admire the Filipino basketball fans. Every single time Alab comes to OCBC Arena, the amount of support and the amount of vocal support that they get from their crowd and their kabayans is tremendously impressive.
Oh, absolutely. It's the hottest ticket in town, you know, week in and week out when they're here. And there's not a better road fan in the ABL than the Philippines. Support their team. Boy, there could have been a foul there. Push by number 30. That's Andre Caracut, who's just come in the game. A little leaner by Alexander, who's going to be off the mark, but he gets his own rebound, and that'll do it. I think a foul before that, however. Let's see if they do call it. No, they don't. So both teams will slink away to their benches. Good first quarter for Singapore. They lead 22-17 here on Stingtel. We'll be back for second quarter action right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 22-17 is your score after the end of the first quarter. We'll get some stats to you in just a little bit. There's Xavier Alexander. He's been leading the way for Singapore. 10 first quarter points for the X-Man, and has been leading the offense and the defense for Singapore. Has a block shot, a couple of assists along. Go with it. And this very, very deep Alab Pilipinas team is showing you why they have been the talk of the league so far, sitting at the top at 5-2. Yo-yoing over there is Jordan Heading. Downstairs it goes to King. King has a mismatch with Quick. Weak side help a little bit too late by Delvin Go.
Yeah, and that back screen got King a nice little mismatch there with Leon Quick in the post, and there's nothing Leon Quick could do there.
So lead trimmed to 3. Looking pass, Go back outside. Leon Quick fires up a high arcing 3.
What the last couple games Leon Quick has had. 15 points last game, and just that local contribution from a player like him is so important here for the Singapore Slingers.
Well, we talked about needing to get bench points and points from beyond just the first 4 players. Dumped in, kick back outside, good ball movement. How to cut, left side, look in pass. Getting away, Delvin Go. Weak side help by McLean. Nice job by Anthony McLean.
There's the lead leaguer in blocks right there. 3 blocks a game. Anthony McLean again with fantastic timing. Not great lift, but fantastic timing on the block shot.
Quick, Alexander. Lim hit a shot last week off the mark there. Alexander corrals it. Getting past Caracut. Sloughed it off to McLean, who finishes with the right hand. Nice job by Alexander on the recognition.
Yeah, what activity from Xavier so far. His aggressiveness going downhill with the dribble has been tremendously impressive.
And a foul that'll go on Leon Quick as he gets beaten to the spot by Louis Vigil. So Vigil will go to the line for a pair. First team foul in the quarter for Singapore. As they've extended that lead to 8 points. Alab quickly got it down to 3, but a little 5-0 run by Singapore.
Well, this is the pace that Singapore wants right now. If you look right now, only 4 fast break points for Alab Pilipinas, or actually 2 fast break points for Alab Pilipinas right now in the first quarter. And if they want to be successful with their depth and the tempo that they like to play with a point guard like Jason Brickman, they have to get more than that to be successful in this game.
Khalif Wyatt checking in. Had a lengthy time on the pine. Lim. Alexander looking in for Go, who's statuesque on that high post, almost losing it inside. One-handed runner inside, can't get it to fall. Tipped up by McLean, now knocked around.
And Alab Pilipinas just fell into that 2-3 zone again with DeGuara on the bench.
A lot of teams have been employing that against Singapore, surrounding McLean, especially on those loose balls off the rim. Trying to get some separation off the mark there and a push, and that's going to go against Alexander. 2 on him.
Wow, and that's a very, very tough call right there. Fundamental box out from Xavier Alexander. The ball is out of play. There's no chance Rosser's going to get it, and they call a foul on the box out. It's a very tough call, and if you're Xavier Alexander, you can't be happy with that.
So second team foul on Singapore.
And here comes the makeup call right now.
Yeah, there is a makeup call. Let's see with Alexander. Yeah, he does have 2 fouls, so. Anyway, there he is, getting the ball off to Lim once more. Queck on that right-hand side. Good ball move by Singapore. Delve and go. Lim going baseline on the reverse, gets stuffed. Ball tipped up again. This time McLean comes down with it. Alexander thought about it, instead rises and fires on that right side for 2.
And Xavier's had a really good game today. 4 of 7 now from the field for 12 points. That aggressiveness, that attacking is back on.
7:23 to go. Korokot gives it off. Barking signals is King. Over to Wyatt. Back down to King on the 2-man game. Delvin Go back on his heels, kicked away. Let's see, last touch by who? They're going to say Alexander with his foot there.
And you haven't heard a lot from Khalif Wyatt today. Only 2 field goal attempts so far. And this is a player who's played at the highest level, like you said, professionally in many leagues across the world. And a former Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. This guy's a basketball player. He's an extreme talent. And to see him only take 2 field goals in the first quarter is a little surprising.
Well, he spent about 5 minutes on the bench too, so don't know what exactly is going on there. And again, Jimmy Alapog faced with that great problem, trying to divvy up minutes for a lot of different people. There's Domingo trying to go glass, a little bit too hard. Alexander in the open court now, waiting for numbers. Desmond O in the game, number 2 for Singapore now. McLean to Alexander. There's the high screen. Coming behind that is Khalifa. Great body control by Xavier Alexander.
The world MVP has it going on today, attacking them every single time they go underneath that ball screen.
Not bad defense by Wyatt, but just better movement by Alexander. Mismatch here. A little bit too hard, and Delvin Go, to his credit, holds his ground. So back comes Singapore, biggest lead of the game, 11 points, Scotty, sorry.
Yeah, I know, my fault. And Sam DeGuara back in the game with 2 fouls. We'll see if Singapore attacks him through Anthony McLean.
Alexander stops, and he's fouled. If that would have gone, it would have counted. Instead, he will try and earn it from the line. Well, a one-man show so far this first quarter for Xavier Alexander, 14 points.
Yeah, and it's that aggressiveness. You talked about Xavier being bumped up and having some injuries last game, and you can see he looks very, very healthy right now. And just that pep in his step that he has. He's everywhere on the defensive end as well as the offensive end. And like you said, to the tune of 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals already.
Smart timeout by Coach Jimmy Alapog to rally his troops. Going to have to come up with some sort of a way to slow down Xavier Alexander, because I'm not saying he's doing it, you know, one man against 5, but my goodness, every time he touches the ball, he makes something happen, Scotty.
Yeah, and it starts off with him shooting that jump shot, and when he hits that jump shot, teams have to get up on him, and that allows him to get into the lane and create for his teammates, as well as get to the foul line, which he does so well with his body control and his ability to create contact.
So DeGuara with a couple of fouls, Alexander with 2 fouls, Elliott, who's left the game with 2 fouls, has not returned yet. And there, another example, not bad defense by number one, Khalif wide at all, but Alexander just getting a step and rising and finding some space in the air. Great control in the air, great control with his hands also when he's in the air in the finish. So
yeah, and if you want a team director, you want a coach directing your team right now, you can't have anyone better than Coach Jimmy Alapag and his assistant coach, Coach Eric Mank, both of them top 50 Philippine Basketball Association players of all time. Jimmy was actually recently nominated and acknowledged by being named one of the top 50 influential Filipinos of this decade. And this is someone who's going to rally his troops right now and come up with different adjustments to get them back in this basketball, to try to get them back in this basketball game.
Now remember, this is a team, Alab Pilipinas, that has averaged over 95 points a game, being held to, incredibly, Scotty, only 20 so far. So that bodes well for Singapore on their defensive end. And as we say, year in and year out, Singapore feeds off that defense. Their offense feeds off the defense, and right now doing exactly what their game plan calls for them.
Yeah, and you said it, Chuck. If you can keep this game low scoring in the 70s, Singapore is going to have a very good chance to be successful. And like you said, 20 points only for the highest scoring team in the ABL right now with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. That's a textbook job defensively by the Singapore Slingers.
Now the Singapore role players, although their names don't really show on the score sheet, they have been doing a fine job helping out on defense. Delvin Go has been all over the place, looking in past to Domingo, slightly tipped. Catch and shoot by Gray is going to be off the mark. Domingo coming all the way over from the right to the left to snare the rebound, but he touched it last. It'll be Singapore ball, 1 and out.
And again, Singapore making adjustments, going into a 1-3-1 there, and a tremendous closeout by Delvin Go to move that body that fast and that long of a closeout and get a contest on Gray. It shows how much this basketball game means to them.
Elliott back into the game now, swivels up to the top of the key, he gets the ball. Alexander on that left-hand side, screen possibility there. Delvin Go, McLean downstairs, Dwyer working on him. Oh boy, almost picked out, but space for Elliott. Elliott rims it out. Have a line drive shot. Here comes Brickman, who's been absent from the festivities for a while. Little show and go move there. Underneath, Domingo can't finish it. Wow, blowing the cripple. Great pass by Gray and just not finishing.
Yeah, it's very unlike Lawrence Domingo, right? You said he's the Singapore Slinger killer, and he usually finishes and has those great touches around the rim.
Delvin Go, no call. Nice recovery downstairs by Jeremiah Gray. Inside, hesitation move, trying to get the ball to Dwyer. Easy step there, but he can't finish it. 2 straight trips down the court. Alexander now with the semi-Euro step, getting the ball inside to Elliott, who finishes it off. Or was it Desmond O? All the way to the cup in the finish.
What athleticism from Jeremiah Gray. Goes over top of the 7-1 Anthony McLean there for the nice Euro step finish.
Alab needed that right there. They'd fallen behind by 14. Quick pass inside to Delvin Go, and he does the rest. No goaltending call. Singapore wanted that. Ball in the hands of Khalifa Wyatt. Oh boy, nice job by Alexander, but Delvin Go getting turned inside out, and Dwyer finishing on the right side, off the glass and in.
Yeah, and a very well-timed timeout from Coach Michael Johnson and Coach Neo there. Alab Pilipinas has got a little bit of momentum going. They're getting out in the open court. 2 easy layups for Sam Dwyer in the last 30 seconds here, and a great timeout to calm his troops down and to get them refocused on what they're going to try and do here.
Yeah, in fact, the last 5 trips down the court, they've had 4 layup possibilities. They missed 2 of them. Yep. So Singapore dodging the bullet a little bit as Alab starting to heat up their engine just a bit. There's a give to Dwyer. Desmond O at 5'8". Sam Dwyer at 7'5", and easily slipping off his defender. Desmond trying for the steal when, Sam put the ball on the floor, and that's something that he has improved, Sam Dwyer. Before, book on him was Scott. He always puts the ball on the floor, just step in and strip him. He's done a much better job this year and a little bit last year also of protecting the ball better.
Yeah, he's had a really good start to his career in Alab Pilipinas here, doing a great job around the rim. Had a massive game last game with 26 points and 14 rebounds. And for Sam, it's just that ability to stay out of trouble, foul trouble, do what he's good at. Get his body down in the post, get his seal, get his touches, and that allows him and his teammates to be successful because he's such a house down there and he draws so much attention.
Both Singapore and San Miguel shooting poorly from the floor at the end of the first quarter. Singapore slightly better, around 38%, and against 36.7 for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. So you have to look, Scotty, for this shooting percentage to go up. In fact, Alab Pilipinas shooting nearly 55% from the floor during the whole season. So Singapore doing something right on the defensive end. Let's see how long it takes Alab to make adjustments. You know they will.
Yes.
Quek back into the game. High screen there, back to the hands of Alexander. Long three, going to be off by Elliott. So he misfires yet again. Gray. Brickman barking signals on that left-hand side. Khalif Wyatt, left side, wide open look for three, is going to be off the mark again. Lids on the basket for a lob from the perimeter. Lucky for Singapore it is. Alexander going to attack the basket, takes the ball, gets it to fall, and one, I think. Let's see if they call the foul on Alexander. If they do, it'll be three. What happened here? 2-1 on the hole, so that's Sam DeGuara. That'll be three on him. So Alexander a chance to make it a three-point play. Everybody of the air went out of the building momentarily. We thought the foul might be on Xavier Alexander. It was not.
So I'm not sure what happened there. The referee was motioning that Sam DeGuara came over the back and hooked after the basket, and that's a tough call to get his third foul here in the first half for Sam DeGuara, having to leave the game again. And this has been his Achilles heel for a long time.
So count the basket. Quek with the ball on the left-hand side. Off the mark. 12-point lead for Singapore. Brickman pushing it this time. Khalifa with the three. Yes, nothing but net. What a drain.
A pass by Jason Brickman. That is elite level passing there. On the break to be able to hit Khalif wide in stride, in place for the secondary break three. That's just a tremendous basketball play.
Let's see if they go straight at DeGuara. No, DeGuara's out of the game. The double team down low on McLean. Let's see what he does to try and break that. So somebody's got to be open. It is Quek, and he has his shot partially blocked. A turnover, a little bit nonchalant there by Leon. Euro step to the basket. The ball knocked away by Alexander. Whip pass way back outside, and a backcourt violation for Alab Pilipinas, and they are playing very, very sloppy basketball at the moment, Scotty.
Yeah, and this is not Alab Pilipinas basketball right now. You can see they're a little disrupted by the defense changes of Singapore, as well as the presence that Xavier Alexander has had on defense. The amount of deflections or hands he's got or balls he's got his hands on so far have really distracted Alab, and it's really made it hard for them to get into a rhythm.
Rosser trying to stay with McLean down low. Alexander off his foot, another turnover for Singapore. Wyatt coming back with it, fires off a pass off balance shot, gonna be way off the mark, and a foul. That won't count. Let's see what it is. Nick King is irate at something. Let's see, he does get the call. 2 shots, he will go to the free throw line.
It's pretty fun to watch Khalif Wyatt and Jason Brickman pass the basketball. Their basketball IQ and just the decision making that they make consistently with the ball is tremendously elite level.
Off the break, he will not go to the free throw line. Brickman again finding space. Nice job by McLean to come over and change the shot. Elliott, still Elliott, going to the left hand, wide open look for Alexander from the left side, no good. Nice job by Desmond O to take it away from Rosser. Alexander jumping, firing inside the lane, yes!
Xavier Alexander, 17 first half points, has just lived in the lane today.
Knocked away by McLean.
Great block from Anthony McLean there. The timing, again, he doesn't have tremendous lift, but he has these really long arms, and his ability to get the ball at the apex every single time represents how good his timing and instincts are in shot blocking circumstances.
Well, night and day, the intensity that Singapore is giving Alab right now. Off balance shot by Rosser. Get it out of here. Another offensive board, though, for Alab. Brickman behind the back, right hand, stops and pops in the lane for 2. Whew. Nice job by Jason Brickman.
Jason Brickman behind the back dribble to create that separation and put it over top of the 7'1" Anthony McLean.
Alexander, Desmond, push by number 24. That'll go against Brandon Rosser. Well, you can see the predicament that Alab Pilipinas has downstairs. You can't put just one guy on McLean. Rosser trying his best. McLean was able to get around him, so Rosser caught in no man's land there and pushed off. Queck bangs it outside. Desmond O around the horn. Good ball movement for Singapore. Rises and fired is Alexander.
And Xavier had something to say to Coach Jimmy there. They're obviously forcing him to shoot the basketball. They're gapping him and going under the ball screen. And he's proving to them right now that he can shoot this basketball.
Khalif Wyatt looking past Rosser. Nice job.
Khalif Wyatt again, just a great bounce pass. The ability to put it to Rosser in step, going to the rim off that ball screen.
What a cut by Brandon Rosser to lose his man on a diagonal pitch run downstairs. Yes! Anthony McLean, and on the ground, Rosser going, what do I got to do to get a foul? So under a minute to play. Khalif Wyatt around Elliott. Screen by Rosser, and it's a cruncher. Wyatt, oh boy, knocked over. Let's see, what do we have here? Things are getting chippy here, guys. Flat on his back on the floor. King and the rest of the Alab Pilipinas are saying count the bucket. On the floor is Marcus Elliott. Queck saying what is going on, and so are we. So let's see how they call this. Possibility of counting the basket and then the foul afterwards, which probably will give Singapore the ball.
There's a lot of physicality from both patrons on that play. Rosser as well as Elliott. Big wrestling match going to the rim for that defensive rebound, and we'll see what the officials come up with right now.
This all started at the opposite end. Remember, McLean very, very physical on Rosser, so I guess Alab going, well, hang on, if that's the way you're going to call it, then we're going to do the same thing at the other end. So let's see how the referees come down on it.
And similar to Lawrence Domingo, Brandon Rosser is an energy guy. He comes in to create energy and to create positive momentum, and he's done that so far. His intensity is upped intensity in the game, and it's starting to become contagious throughout his teammates.
See what the call is. The scoreboard has not changed, 42-31. Foul's going to go on number. Is that Jordan heading the foul, or are they going to give it on Alexander? No, on Elliott. Boy, oh boy. And you can see the referees seem just as confused as everybody else here, so they're going to have to call timeout and go talk it over again. Obviously some confusion in their calling because the head referee goes over to the bench. As you can see Coach Neo saying 15. Now, is that our guy 15? Because that's 3 on Xavier Alexander. Or is it on Jordan Heading, number 15? So do they count the bucket and give the ball back to Singapore? Timeout going to be called by Alab Pilipinas as they have now a 3-man conference to try and sort this out. Scotty, let's watch it again on the replay. Well, there's what's precipitated the action right there. You can see Brandon Rosser going down, and that incites the Alab Pilipinas. So they come back down and initiate some contact themselves, and the referees sort of lost control of the game.
Yeah, there hasn't been much clarification right now. And you can see the officials are trying to talk it out. They're having a dialogue right now. They're trying to figure out what is the correct call, and this is a good job by the officials. They obviously made a mistake to begin with, and they're trying to figure out what this right call is and move forward here as far as their practice as well as officiating.
So we have not seen them go over and look at the screen yet. That would probably solve a lot of the issue. 31.2 seconds to go, ladies and gentlemen. 42-31. Regular season game between the home team Singapore Slingers and the top of the table, top of the league, Alab Pilipinas. Chuck Schreiner, Scott McKinnon, so happy you can spend part of your Sunday with us here in the Lion City of Singapore. And we've got a good one. No love lost between these teams in the best of times, Scotty. They are natural rivals, and they have come here, Alab Pilipinas, many times and broken the heart of Singapore. Likewise, Singapore has gone down to their place and created a few problems too. And Singapore, as we said, with that 1-4 start, are desperate for a win. They're desperate for relevance right now, and you know, a win right now against a team that's 5-2, sharing the top spot with Mono Vampire would do just that. Of course, San Miguel, Alab Pilipinas, well, we're in first place, and what's ours is ours, and you're not going to take it away. So it's mano here, and the physicality to sort of prove it.
Yeah, and the question was, how is Singapore going to persevere and how are they going to deal with this adversity? And so far in this first half, they have rallied and they have stepped up to it.
So no scores being put up, and Alab with the ball, so I guess that's going to go on Elliott. There it is right there, the bucket by Nick King to bring it back down to single figures. Under 20 seconds to go. Singapore will play for the final shot. Look for Alexander to take it. He's had the hot hand the first half. He's got 21. Oh boy, the ball taken away. You cannot do that. From behind, out of bounds it goes, no foul. Singapore will get it back. They dodge a bullet big time there. 7.2 seconds to go.
Oh, what a momentum changer that could have been. Jason Brickman, tremendous anticipation to jump the high post there and steal the basketball. And there was a lot of contact going to the rim there. Surprisingly, no foul was called. Luckily enough, Singapore is able to secure the ball with 7.2 seconds left here in the last possession of the half.
Tay Ding Long throwing the ball away there, and very, very lucky not to escape that with a goat head on his head after
well said, Chuck.
The end of the second quarter. So they'll talk it over again. 7.2 seconds to go for Singapore. We'll be back here next Sunday. Also, Singapore will be playing Mono Vampire, another team that's atop the table. So certainly Singapore in the next couple of weeks has its work cut out for it. There will be a break for Chinese New Year, and then we'll adjourn back to the ABL on January 29th. Singapore will hit the road again, then be back here. Full house here at the OCBC Arena. And what I can tell, Scotty, you know, for once there seems to be just as many Singapore Slinger fans as there are Alab Filipina fans. Sometimes when Alab Pilipinas come here, or any Philippine team that come here, no matter what year you're talking about, it's almost like a home game for them.
Yeah, and I think the Filipino fans bring out the best in the Singaporeans. The success that the Slingers have had the last few years has really created a great community here supporting them. And they know when Alab comes into town, there's going to be a lot of Filipinos here cheering them on. It sort of brings out the best in their spirit and their ability to rally and to support these Slingers.
Okay, 7 seconds to go. Let's see what Alexander has in mind. Long three from the corner is going to be off the mark, and that will do it. So Singapore has a 9-point lead, 42-33. The high-flying Alab Pilipinas held to 33 points. Singapore right around their average of 42. That'll do it at the end of the second quarter. Hey, Scotty will be back with the first half highlights in just a minute, and we'll be chatting together on air for 1 minute, so don't go away. 42-33 Singapore over Alab at the end of the first half. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We check out first half highlights. We can get the picture going here. Here we go. Singapore off the mark very quick, scoring first bucket. That's Anthony McLean on route to 2 of his 6 points. Brickman doing a great job splitting the defense there, getting between off the glass and rattling it home. Jason Brickman with 4 points in the first half. Check it out. Number 15, Nick King. We talked to him for the game, 24-year-old. Xavier Alexander, he has been the straw that stirs the drink. McLean finishing up there on the little no-look pass by Xavier. Xavier with 21 first half points. Here he is in traffic, rises, leaning back, great extension. A couple defenders around him. Again, Anthony McLean, this is without Dwyer in the game, sloughs off one defender. No foul called. That was Rother that hit the deck. So those are the highlights for the first half, ladies and gentlemen. Singapore Slingers nursing that 9-point lead over Alab Pilipinas, who are leading the league with that 5-2 record. Singapore at the bottom of the table right now at 1-4. So hello, ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Schreiner, Scotty McKinnon. So happy you could spend part of your Sunday with us in the Singapore Slingers, Scotty, with that 9-point lead, trying to make a statement in desperation for a win. They've got to have a win today.
Well, you said desperation, Chuck, and the adversity that Singapore has gone through today and the effort that they had, they know how important this game is. And they've done it on the defensive end, only giving up 33 points in the first half to the highest scoring team in the ABL at over 95 points per game, the Alab Filipinas. Singapore's done it on the defensive end, and it's turned into offense in that transition for them. And in one person in particular, Xavier Alexander, 8 for 12 so far, 21 points. The ABL MVP, reigning MVP, has come to play today.
He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, as we saw with his mix-up with Coach Jimmy Alab. Jimmy, a good friend of both of ours. So I think after the game is over, that will all be resolved. But right now, a lot of intensity, and I think that's what Xavier Alexander's trying to do with his teammate. Fire him up, keep him fired up, and hope that's enough to coast to a victory here.
And it's become contagious throughout his teammates. You can see how important they all know this game is. And X's effort, not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, getting deflections, getting touches, getting defensive rebounds, and pushing the ball in transition, has become contagious throughout his teammates. And that aggressiveness, that confidence, has led them to this lead that we have so far at halftime.
Now, a lot of talk about Alab Pilipinas. They're a very talented team, but a very young team. You know, you look up and down the roster. Wyatt, 28 years old. Gray, 23. Domingo, 26. 23, 24, 25. Hopefully, I mean, if you're Singapore perspective, that will be enough to put them just off their game so Singapore is able to get out of here with a win. But they're a rock-solid team from top to bottom.
Oh, they're the deepest team in the league. They're the deepest team in the ABL, and I think that makes them the scariest team in the ABL because they're able to mix-match with different lineups and different people in different positions and different roles, and it makes them very hard to prep for and very hard to game plan for. And one person that hasn't been very aggressive here so far in the first half is Khalif Wyatt. And this is the former Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. This guy is a tremendous talent, and he's only taken 3 shots. 2 of 3, he's hit them, but he's only taken 3 shots so far. I'm surprised from that perspective for a guy who is so important to Alab Pilipinas.
Now, for also Alab Pilipinas, for them to rock and roll, they also need a lot more from Sam DeGuara. He's been sidelined, handcuffed most of the game with 3 fouls. You can see what happens when he exits the game. They've got a double team on McLean. They are very, very concerned that Anthony McLean doesn't dominate down low. They don't want that, freeing up Alexander to do havoc on the outside. So look for more of that, but they're going to have to get DeGuara involved and hope that he doesn't get in any more foul trouble.
Yeah, you said it, Chuck. For Sam DeGuara, it's staying out of foul trouble. When he is out of foul trouble, he is a dominant person. He's a dominant force in this league, but it's the silly ticky-tack fouls that put him on the bench and really hurt in our disservice to his Alab Pilipinas team because he is such an important facet, not only just defensively for them, but on the offensive end for creating separation and allowing Khalif Wyatt and Jeremiah Gray and Jason Brickman to have space and time to make good decisions.
Talk about Marcus Elliott. He really hasn't been a factor so far for Singapore. They're going to have to get him in the mix. They're going to need his long-range shooting. They need his leadership. We saw last week, 20 points, 16 rebounds. He's been a shell of that so far, and we know that he is a consummate professional. He can break out at any time. They need him to do it. Yeah,
and Marcus Elliott is a competitor. The thing that I love about Marcus Elliott is he's never going to stop shooting. He's never going to stop believing that the next shot's going in. He has a very short memory when it comes to shooting percentages and stuff like that, and that confidence is built on his work ethic. So that's what Singapore needs, is him to continue to shoot, because for them to be successful, he has to be one of that go-to players, especially with his pedigree as far as what he's done as a basketball player here in the ASEAN Basketball League.
Okay, Khalif Wyatt, Jeremiah Gray, Lawrence Domingo, Jason Brickman. The roster goes on and on and on with the Alab Pilipinas. The other side of the ball, Singapore. If you're going to point to a specific weakness on their team, it's bench support. They just don't get much offense from their bench.
Yeah, and you said it, Chuck, bench points right now, 9-2 for Alab Pilipinas. This has been consistent so far. So if they're not getting that support from their bench and they're not getting those minutes from their bench, their starters, especially their locals, are really going to have to step up. And that's 2 players, Delvin Goh and Leon Kwek, and they have been fantastic this year. They have been tremendous and fantastic and asked to do a lot as well, not only on the offensive end, but guard imports on the defensive end as well.
Okay, 9-point lead for the Singapore Slingers or Alab Pilipinas. Singapore led by as many as 15 that last game, but still went down to a 7-point defeat. So don't go away. Don't think it's in the bag if you're a Singapore Slinger fan. Don't lose hope if you're an Alab Pilipinas fan, because a lot of basketball to play. We'll start off in about 10-15 minutes to get it going. Thanks a lot here from the OCBC Arena. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting ready for a second half. A little bit of an equipment malfunction here. We're all good to go. So 9-point lead, 42-33 Singapore leads, and they've done it off a terrific first half by Xavier Alexander. Shut down defense as usual for the Singapore Slingers, and Alab Pilipinas just not able to get it going. To be fair, Scotty, Alab have shot themselves in the foot a few times. They've missed a couple of open layups, a couple of wide open shots as well. This is a team that knows how to do it, and we expect for them to come back. I'm sure Coach Mike MJ and Coach Nyo have made that fact crystal clear to the Singapore Slingers. You can't expect Alab Pilipinas to shoot themselves in the foot like this for the second half as well. So they're going to have to be up on their game if they expect to win.
Yeah, and in Singapore, our Alab Pilipinas averages 95 points a game. They've only scored 33 in the first half here, and that's due to 2 things. Due to the tremendous defensive job that Singapore has done so far, as well as Alab has struggled offensively. Their imports combined have 18 points total, and that's not going to last for very long with the quality of imports that Nick King, Sam DeGuara, and Khalif Wyatt are.
Singapore doing a great job of helping on defense. Even their role players have gotten into it. Now we talk about incessantly probably about bench scoring and role player scoring for Singapore. However, what they do give you is they give 100% on defense. So while it might not show up in the box scores, they're scoring a lot on the bench. They are helping on defense, and that has made a big difference too in the first half. So getting ready to get it going here in the second half. Elliott getting it into Alexander, who had the big first half with 21 points. Quick look-in pass. Bounce pass inside. DeGuara back into the game. McLean trying to bulldoze him. Nice job by McLean over the top of DeGuara.
Anthony McLean tries to do the step through, runs into the 7'6", 300-pound DeGuara and just chucks it up there, and luckily enough, it goes in for Singapore.
Brickman giving it off. Back outside again. Brickman on that left-hand side now. He pops up inside and goes. Baseline, he stepped out of bounds. It'll go back the other way. Nice call by the referee.
And you can see Alab just can't get into a rhythm right now. It was a really good drive by Jeremiah Gray, a great pass downstairs to Nick King. It was a layup, and unfortunately steps on the line.
Delvin Go with Wyatt on him. Delvin Go turns the corner downstairs. He's got DeGuara there too in the trees. He wasn't going to go anywhere there. Last touch by DeGuara with Singapore ball on the baseline.
And Wyatt's done a good job defensively in Delvin Go in the first half. Delvin Go's 1 of 9 from the floor, and he's giving up a lot of size and a lot of weight there, and he's just really intelligent with where he puts his pressure on and when he steps back and gives him space.
No, great point right there as McLean finishes it off, and DeGuara steps slow that time on the inbound.
Anthony McLean with a great game so far. Just his ability to attack that rim and with the soft touch around the rim that he didn't have last game.
Screen there, DeGuara rolls off that inside and providing the blocking, and down low is a foul. I think that'll go on Leon Queck. Reaching in.
If you're out there, you have to love the aggressiveness of Khalif Wyatt coming off that ball screen. And Wyatt is not the most athletic person in the world, but it's amazing what he does with his wide body. The ability to get someone on your hip and keep them there. A little bit like Filipino player Kiefer Ravenna or NBA player Chris Paul, using that wide girth to get to where he wants every single time.
DeGuara hits the first of 2. Another one of these basketball nomads we talked about. McLean snares the rebound. Here comes Elliott, hoping to get him involved early. Jumper from the top, back rim, stepping in to get his own rebound and knocked away. Nice job in the open court. Now here's Wyatt getting ahead of Delvin Go. Another block by Anthony McLean. Back come the Slingers, knocked away again. Filipino fans wanting backcourt. They don't get it. Nice hustle play by Alexander.
You can see how much this basketball game means to Xavier Alexander. Your superstar diving on the floor to save that basketball.
Absolutely. Delvin, bounce pass inside. McLean, and he's fouled by DeGuara, and that'll be 4 on him. Smart move by McLean, going straight up.
Yeah, and McLean did a really good job at challenging DeGuara at the rim, and there's DeGuara again. 8:10 left in the third quarter. He doesn't have to make that challenge. Wall up, stay vertical. This is an obvious foul, and now he's going to be on the bench for the rest of the third quarter.
Check it out right there. It was a hard foul. So I guess if you're going to foul, so that'll send McLean to the line where he was 2 of 2 last time, usually around a 55 to 60% free throw shooter.
DeGuara is such a talented basketball player and such a focus and important cog in Alab's team that he can't be on the bench and he can't pick up that foul.
So we'll see what McLean can do. Yeah, I just don't see a whole lot of adjustments that Alab Pilipinas have done during the halftime intermission. Still coming with the same strategy, and it is still Singapore Slingers that are winning almost every loose ball. So 1 of 2, lead stretched up to 13. Remember, they led by 9. Brickman, screen by Domingo. Back outside he goes, pulling his way inside on the Euro step, number 55.
Nick King.
King.
What a ball fake there to sell Anthony McLean. They're just going back to his dominant left hand.
Delvin waiting for cutters. Downstairs it goes to McLean. Jams it home. All day long, as far as they're concerned, there's really nobody there that can go with him. Jeremiah Gray you saw, jumped in the picture a little bit too late.
And this is the problem now with DeGuara on the bench. 15 points for Anthony McLean, and no one can match up physically with him on Alab now.
Switch there on defense. Alexander comes over. McLean against Domingo. Nice job by McLean to seal off the baseline. Kick back outside, punched away by Alexander. 2-on-2, gives off to Queck. Queck, yes.
Xavier Alexander, ladies and gentlemen, downhill transition, an unbelievable selfless play to get Leon Queck a layup and get him some confidence as well. What a start to the second half for the Singapore Slingers.
Oh, absolutely. 15-point lead, the biggest lead of the game. Let's check it out again. Watch Leon Queck, his sidekick right next to him. No look pass by Alexander. Turning Brickman inside out. And Elliott right behind him. So Alab Pilipinas doing a very poor job of getting down and trailing that play.
Yeah, it all comes down to Sam DeGuara picking up his fourth foul. Sam leaving the game has allowed Anthony McLean's physicality, size to be such an advantage to them on the defensive end as well as the offensive end, and it's changed the dynamic of this game right now with the 7-11 left here in the third quarter.
Well, it's certainly a statement by Xavier Alexander. Now the task for Singapore is to leave it right here. They don't want to go into, you know what problems that they have when they finish a game. We've seen that time and time again so far this season, Scotty. They led this same Alab Pilipinas team by 15 midway through the third quarter last game and ended up losing by 7. So they've got to keep their focus. They've got to keep their intensity. I don't think that they'll let up, but it helps a lot when your big man DeGuara is on the bench.
Yeah, it forces Coach Jimmy to get very creative now. He's going to have to figure out how they're going to stop Anthony McLean on the defensive end, as well as how they're going to create buckets for their superstars, Nick King and Khalif Wyatt on the other end now.
So with all the weapons he has at his disposal, Coach Jimmy Alapag has had problems trying to find the best combination to go against Singapore, and I think that's been half the problem. He's still searching for answers here. Brickman, head down, left-hand dribble, off to the right. Here comes the help. Delvin go. Now he'll go back home. Around the screen. Off to Wyatt. Domingo tipped away. Nice job by Singapore. Kick back outside again. Long three is going to be off the mark. Right into the hands of Wyatt, who finishes it up. Or Jeremiah Gray, excuse me. Nice sequence there for Singapore, but unfortunately for them, the ball popping right in the hands of Jeremiah Gray, who finishes it up. Lead trimmed to 13. Alexander looking downstairs for McLean, who is being covered. I mean, somebody's got to be open. Alexander on that left-hand side.
Good
now the
defense.
double team ends up. Nice job by Delvin. Check that by Queck to pick it off the floor. A foul, and I think that'll send Alexander. Let's see if he'll go to the line. Who was the foul on?
Looks like it was on Lawrence Domingo, and that was a great little matchup there. Lawrence Domingo moved his feet, kept his chest in front of Xavier. Xavier almost traveled, and then you see again, this is a 50-50 ball that Xavier Alexander wills himself into getting and gets himself back to the foul line. You can see how much this game matters and how desperate he is to win this for the Singapore Slingers here.
Singapore definitely doesn't want to fall to 1 in 5. Hitting the first of 2. You can see what happened. The double team is intact until Alexander starts to make a move on the interior. Then it comes away, and that what Alexander gives, what it does to him is it gives him options. He can keep it himself or try and find McLean. McLean was lost in the trees that time, so Alexander took it himself. 2 of 2 that time. The lead stretched back up to 15. Wyatt. Gray. Brickman. There's the screen. Brickman tries to lay it through. A beautiful pass, but he can't finish it off.
And nothing falling right now for Alab Pilipinas. A great pick and roll. Brandon Rosser in and out layup. They just can't buy a bucket.
Left side, Queck with a high arcing three is going to be off the mark. Ball popped up in the air. Brickman comes up with it. Lead pass to King. King, left hand, takes it to the hole, can't make it. Back comes Elliott and company.
Basketball is a momentum sport, and it's just contagious. Missed layups, missed free throws, missed assignments.
Alexander, last touch by Delvin go. 2 golden opportunities, though, for Alab Pilipinas, coach. Uncontested shots there, and they could not put them away.
Yeah, they're getting the shots they want. They just can't finish right now, and that's a reflection of the pressure that Singapore's put on them, as well as not being able to get themselves back into that rhythm.
Some would say it'd be a function of their age, too, but I won't say that. Ooh, boy, off the mark. Ball tipped around. Elliott comes up with it again. Quick pass to Leon Quet. Thought about it, gets it over in the hands of Go. McLean downstairs, ball tipped around, back into the hands of Go. McLean in traffic, up and in.
Great pass from Delvin Go. Nice little dish, drives, dishes it to Xavier for his 25th point of the night.
Nice job by Alexander. Let's see, last touch by who? Well, you can see Alexander sealing off that baseline. You can see exactly where Nick King was wanting to go. Alexander with that foot just laying it down straight and forcing the ball loose, but last touch by Xavier. So it'll be Alab ball on the baseline with 4:54 to go here in the third quarter.
And like you said, Coach Jimmy just trying to find a lineup that works right now. He's got Jordan Heading coming back in and Louis Vigil, and just trying to find some way that they can score some buckets and some way that they can get some positive momentum going.
So McLean comes out. So Singapore will go small. Inside it goes, knocked away by Alexander. Back they come again. And a foul. Alexander again forcing the action. That was number 24 taking the bait, Brandon Rosser.
And Alexander's been absolutely everywhere tonight on the defensive and the offensive end. The ability just to be in the passing lane, consistently in the passing lane, and not letting King catch the ball and not letting King have any space has really affected Alab offensively, especially since DeGuire's gone out of the game.
I don't think I've seen a more dominant performance by a player this year, Scotty. He just, in every aspect of the game, on whatever you want to talk about. Elliott, still Elliott, finding that little space. He's due! Another big three.
And I like that pull-up from Marcus Elliott because it's outside the three. It wasn't a long two, rhythm dribble off the ball screen straight into a three-pointer.
20-point lead for Singapore. Baseline, Delvin Go. Blocking it off, knocked away. Great job of pursuit by Delvin Go. And out of bounds it went.
Delvin hasn't had the greatest game offensively today, but he's doing stuff on the defensive end. He's guarding guards, and he's changing it up to a big now, and Brandon Rosser did a very good job of rim protection there.
Back outside it comes. Off the screen, there's a switch with Alexander, who strips. Back the other way it goes. He's got Lim on the other side, and a foul. Alexander will go the line again. Foul will go on number 18, Louis Vigil.
And right now the Singapore crowd is appreciating the effort of Xavier Alexander. This is why he is the reigning ABL MVP. He has completely dominated this game, not just from an offensive perspective, but from the defensive perspective. He must have 6 or 7 steals now, 6 or 7 assists, 8 or 9 rebounds. Again, it's that almost quadruple double, triple double that he brings every single day.
Before the last game, he was almost averaging a triple double, 21, 9, and 8. There's a lead stretched to 21.
And I like what Coach Jimmy's doing right now. He's bringing Sam DeGuire back in the game. He knows that that he can't let this get out of range anymore, and he's going to see if his import can play with 4 fouls here and 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, he has little choice right now because there's already 22 points and a total of 14 minutes to go. So Alexander in the zone, back into the game like clockwork comes Anthony McLean. So they'll go straight at him, no doubt about that. Hendy. Gray back outside. Overload on that right side. Pass inside. DeGuire off balance. Off the glass.
Very good patience from Sam DeGuire there to reverse pivot, keep the ball high, and shoot a little Tim Duncan-esque bank shot off the glass.
Now let's see if they go right straight downstairs. You can see the reluctance of Alab. There's DeGuire. McLean out of the picture a little bit now. What do we have here?
Yeah, and I think it'd be very difficult for Sam DeGuire to protect the rim right now. So Singapore would be very wise to either get Xavier going downhill or get a touch to Anthony McLean in the post, because I don't think Sam DeGuire can do much, and he knows that with 4 fouls.
So Heading working against Quet. Over to apply the screen is Rosser. Up pops Rosser. See if he takes advantage of this. Gray downstairs. DeGuire, soft touch. He's going to be off the mark. Rebound up in the air. Tipped away. Alexander comes away with it. 4-on-4, Alexander attacking the rim, wide open look from the left side is... Who else? Marcus Elliott, 2 in a row.
And that's, again, Marcus Elliott outside the 3 with his feet set. That's a great shot for Singapore Slingers, and Marcus Elliott buries it.
Knocked away. Ball will be in possession of Singapore. Last touch by number 18, Louis Vigil.
And Chuck, if you would have told me at the beginning of the game with 2:51 left in the third, Alab Pilipinas, who averages 95 points a game, would have 40 points, I would have said you're joking.
No, there's just no way. The sort of a role that they were on. I watched them play Fubon last week, and they were simply awesome. But Singapore, you know, they are built on defense, and certainly showcasing that today. That and their MVP, Xavier Alexander. Bounce pass inside to Delvin. Delvin uses his shoulder over the top, can't get it. Rebound by McLean, and a foul.
And Brandon Ross is really flirting the line of aggression right now. I love his intensity. I love the energy that he brings in, the competitiveness. And he might be called for a flagrant here because he came down very hard on the little punch, trying to get the basketball there at the end.
There's a start right there, and there's a miss. Watch McLean come in from the low post and over the top. There he is, right on top, and he came down with that elbow. Oof.
Very lucky he was not called for an intentional foul there. You have to love his aggression. You have to love his competitiveness, because down 22 with 2:34 left in the half here, they need this. Alab Pilipinas needs that fire from someone, and Brandon Ross was trying to bring it.
So McLean, he's been decent today from the free throw line. He's at 4 of his last 5.
And he's been very solid. And if you talk about winning matchups today, Anthony Biggie McLean has definitely won the matchup in the middle.
You know, another thing this has done for Singapore, it's taken the Philippine supporters right out of the game. So it's basically a full house, but if you're a Singapore Slinger, you're hearing only your own fans. Vigil waiting for the screen, he got it. Punches through McLean on the reverse. Goaltending on Delvin Go.
And that's what Louis Vigil can do. He's an instant bucket. And he was in college in the Philippines. He is in the professional level here. This guy can come in and score. Score right away, score early and often in a variety of ways, going to the rim as well as shooting from the outside.
So lead trimmed to 22. Alexander again in a touch foul. That will go against Jordan Heading. Wow. So in the penalty, that will send Alexander to the line again. We'll stop the clock at 2:13. Interestingly enough, look at the team fouls. Singapore with only 1 in the whole quarter, Scotty. That's how the game has gone.
Yeah, and Alab Pilipinas was 6, and you can see the Alab players are starting to get a little bit frustrated with that. And they're starting to let those frustrations get out of their game and get them into early foul trouble, and a little bit too much physicality in the full court there from Jordan Heading.
Well, this was not the knock against Alab Pilipinas, because we've already illustrated how talented they are from top to bottom, but they are a young team, and sometimes you can take them out of their comfort zone. They do tend to get frustrated. Going straight to the bucket, no good. Coming down with the ball is McLean. He suffers a prize for it, though. They'll wait for him to come back. No hurry. 15 on the shot clock. Elliott goes to the left hand. Alexander. Downstairs it goes. Oh boy, Delvin Go didn't need to put it on the floor. 5 on the shot clock. Opposite side, Alexander all alone for 3. No good. Chases down his own miss. My goodness. Stepped on the inline, however, so.
Yeah, and Alab has been forced to go into a lot of zone today because of the foul trouble of Sam DeGuire, and it's been interesting to see their matchups and what they've done in that 2-3, because it's been very tough to match up and to sit on the post with Anthony McLean in there.
Just goes to show you this hyper-competitive ABL. Any day, any difference in the score, any team can win. McLean, good job to stay with it. Back comes Alexander. And a tribute to the Slingers, really, Scotty. I mean, they've lost 3 games in a row, not ever putting their head down once, just going right back to practice and figuring out what they've got to do the next day. Elliott, catch and shoot, no good. Delvin Go right there, can't get it. Rebound torn away by Vigil. Vigil, left hand, working on Go, stop, pop, off the glass, up and in.
And this is Louis Vigil at his best. This guy's a bucket. He can come in and he can score. It doesn't matter if he gets 2 minutes or 25 minutes. This guy can put points up on the board and he can put them up quickly.
They only give him a 2 on that, so 21-point lead for Singapore with under a minute to play. Off the screen. Bounce pass inside. And a foul. And that'll go on number 24, Rosser.
And a great high-low look there to Anthony McLean. No one on Alab can match up with him physically right now. And a great little post-up, up and under, came back and drew his 5th foul on Brandon Rosser right here, so he'll be exiting the game.
Yeah, well, and that hurts in a lot of ways because Rosser was one of the only ones that could match up against McLean downstairs. He is 6'7", 210, so one of the taller guys on this Alab Pilipinas team if you take DeGuara out of the equation. So now the pressure really on DeGuara, and look for them to go straight at him now.
Yeah, and you look at Alab right now, they've gone all local. So an all local lineup with all 3 imports on the bench. And so, like you said before, Coach Jimmy's had to get creative with this foul trouble and with some of his imports not being aggressive offensively.
Well, he's got 10 more minutes, and that is a lifetime in basketball. So if you have any preconceptions of this game being over, hold the phone, because it's a very, very talented team on the other side. 1 of 2 from McLean, so the lead stretched back up to 22. The numbers on McLean, 18 and 10. So shades of what he did last time.
Coach Neal and Coach Johnson have mixed and matched a bunch of different defenses today. A little bit of half-court trapping, a little full-court pressing, man-to-man, zone.
Domingo, the shot by Gray is off the mark. Backup jumper is short. Go right there for the pick. So last shot of the quarter, and Singapore will have at least a 22-point lead. Opposite side, down lurking on the baseline. The reverse, Delvin Go can't get it to fall. And that will do it. So Singapore staying with the game plan. Alab looking a little bit lifeless in that 3rd quarter. Singapore with a 66-44 lead. 10 minutes of basketball to go here at the OCBC Arena. We'll be right back for 4th quarter action in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, 66-44, big day for the Singapore Slingers after 3 straight losses, getting it all back in one fell swoop here at the OCBC Arena. Chuck Schreiner, Scotty McKinnon, thanks for coming along for the ride. And Scotty, you know, well, what can you say? Xavier Alexander and his cohort out there taking care of business on the defensive end and holding the high-flying Alab Pilipinas defense to 44 points through 3. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable so far. And you talk about a statement game by the reigning MVP. Xavier Alexander, 9 of 15 from the field, 28 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 6 steals. Flirting with quadruple double status here right now.
Domingo, head fake. Get it out of here, says Anthony McLean.
Talk about a rebound game for Anthony McLean, 6 of 7 from the field, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 3 block shots. Both guys have come to play and have come to play with that desperate energy as well as that focus that they needed today.
Well, we underestimate the toll that those 3 games in 5 days did to Singapore in that match against Saigon, where they looked a bit listless. And another block by McLean. Singapore on the move. Alexander looking for company. He'll hold it up on that right-hand side and wait. McLean 2 consecutive blocks. I think that gives him 5 for the game. Wide open look. Off the mark. Dominguez with the board. Ball in the hands of Wyatt. Still Wyatt. Dominguez at his side. Kicked away right into the path of Delvin Go. Go with the right hand. Gives it off to Elliott. Elliott came to life in the 3rd quarter. A couple triples. Singapore understandably with a big lead, taking their time. Under 9 minutes to go now. Lim, baseline, no good. McLean right there to clean up and a foul, and that'll go on number 13.
And that's going to be an intentional foul right there. Anthony McLean, and again, that's the absence of Sam DeGuara. Sam DeGuara on the bench with 4 fouls, 8 points. Anthony McLean winning the weak side rebound every single time. And they just called an intentional foul there on number 13, Rangel.
Rangel, first action we've seen him. Another one of these younger players. It seems like Anthony McLean has been at the line a lot tonight. What a game for Anthony McLean too, Scotty.
Oh, unbelievable. What a response. Last game had a little trouble with the pick and pop and Chris Charles, and what a response today from Anthony McLean here. Absolutely dominating Sam DeGuara. He's played 27 minutes to Sam DeGuara's 13, 18 points to Sam DeGuara's 8, and 10 to Sam DeGuara's 4 rebounds.
Well, we'd say realistically, Alab has about 5 minutes to get back in this game. 0 for 2 there. That's on the intentional foul. So Singapore will now have the ball on the near side. Numbers on the big man. Toil from Mono Vampire 2 or 3 years ago and hasn't been seen in these parts since, but here he is back with Singapore making a statement today. Catch and pop. Yes! Elliott, his 3rd triple of the game.
Yeah, and that's Elliott at his best, catching and shooting in a rhythm.
Reach in foul there by Leon Queck.
And I'd like to see that from Khalif Wyatt. This guy is a tremendous basketball player, and he only has 6 shot attempts today. His ability to get people on his hip and attack downhill, as well as he has a world-class level shot fake. This is the aggression that they need. Alab needs to try and get back in this basketball game here.
Oh, absolutely. Khalif Wyatt went to Temple 2009, 2013. Had problems with his coach for the first 2 or 3 years, and guess what? His senior year, they made up. Coach saying that Khalif is one of his favorite players ever. Played in the D-League 2013 and 14. Guangdong Southern Tigers, that is a power in the CBA, and went off to Israel and played 4 years there, so he's been around.
Yeah, and the Israeli top league is one of the best professional leagues in the world.
Right.
And for him to be successful there, this guy is a real player.
So 24-point lead. Elliott, bounce pass over to Queck. Thought about it. Want to eat more time off the clock than that with their lead, and Elliott doesn't think about it, pops again.
And again, catch and shoot. They're in the zone. And Marcus Elliott doesn't think twice, no dribble, just catch and shoot straight into 3.
Underneath, the shot changed by who else?
Anthony McLean. Just patrolling the middle right now. And because he doesn't have to worry about Sam DeGuara, he can chase in every single weak side block. And with the timing that Anthony McLean has, his 5th block of the game already.
Well, Nick King muttering to himself as he came down the floor. Alexander in that first matchup against Alab had 26, 9, and 10. Barely missing a triple-double. Elliott, why not? Off the mark that time. Ball pumped in the air. Nice hustle there by Queck in vain. Here comes King. King, lead pass downstairs and foul that time. Catches him with the body.
Yeah, that's the Alab Pilipinas we expected to see. Great defensive rebound from Nick King. He pushes the basketball. Very nice snap chest pass to Lawrence Domingo, who finishes at the rim for the and one. And they looked really quick getting down the floor there in transition.
Lawrence Domingo, the Jimi Hendrix look-alike. I'm showing my age there. There's the miss. 25-point lead for Singapore. They'll use up as much time as they possibly can. Elliott thought about it off the one screen. Rolling down will be Go to the basket. Off to Go. Glass and in.
And there's again Xavier Alexander in the paint. He draws so much attention. Little dump down and steal at the other end now.
Another steal, and tell you what, you don't want to say it's over yet because there's a lot of time yet, but my goodness, Singapore off to a 27-point lead. What a beatdown.
Xavier's has to be approaching a quadruple double now.
Elliott, jump step inside, somehow, some way, off the glass.
You see Marcus Elliott starting to feel pretty good right now. Nice little Euro step and finishing behind his head with the right hand and a little sugar to put it in.
29-point lead. Back comes Alexander and company. Under 7 minutes it goes. So look for them to eat up time. What a statement by Singapore Slingers. So those who thought that, as Elliott does it again, who thought last year's finalists were a done subject for the 2019-2020, think again.
You talk about heart and grit coming from a basketball team, and it's portrayed right there in Marcus Elliott. Shooting woes for the first 3 games, never phased him. I saw him clap back at a few people online with that competitiveness and that fire and spirit, and man, has he come to play today. 19 points, 4 3-pointers here in this second half.
Yeah, he had 20 last game and 16 rebounds. Here again, finding the hot hand. No hesitation whatsoever. Delivering the goods.
Yeah, Chuck, I think you said it perfectly there. No hesitation. That's the key. You can see the confidence and the swagger that's oozing off of him right now. And that catch and shoot 3, I think, is a very, very good shot for Marcus Elliott.
Well, that is the guy who's made it happen. 28 points, I think 8 rebounds, and at least 8 assists. So still time to get a triple-double, but if he doesn't reach that stratosphere, what a game for Xavier Alexander. And seeing that his team was in trouble in the league, looking down the bottom of the table, you're not used to seeing Singapore Slingers in 10th place at 1-4. He knew he was going to have to put the team on his shoulder, and that's exactly what he did. The team came through in the second half, loosened up a lot. He hasn't had to carry that much of a burden, thanks to Elliott, thanks to McLean, Delvin Go, everybody playing shutdown defense. So even the guys that aren't getting their names in the books as far as points scored, Scotty, they're helping out on the defensive end.
Yeah, and you said it, Chuck. They're following their leader. And you talk about a leader here in the community that does so much on and off the basketball court. We always say Xavier Alexander is that guy. He knew how important this basketball game was. He came out to play with it just with the little detail efforts like diving for loose balls, winning 50-50 rebounds, et cetera, and that turned into all the success he had on the offensive end.
Wyatt gives it up. Haricott in the game now and counted in 1. So DeGuire in the game playing with 4 fouls. He will go and try and make it a 3-point play.
Yeah, and Sam DeGuire has 10 points now in 14 minutes. So imagine if he had played the same amount of time as an Anthony McLean. This is a different basketball game, and Anthony McLean did a great job of getting him in foul trouble. Xavier Alexander, Delvin Go attacking the rim, and again, Sam DeGuire just lacked a little bit of discipline and staying vertical in a lot of opportunities when guys attack him.
I'm not trying to make excuses for Singapore.
No.
Remember, they started the season a month behind all the other teams and ran into some away games that against good clubs. I mean, we talk about the parity in this league. Obviously, when you look at the top, and the top 2 teams already have 2 losses, and we're only 7 games deep into the season. Desmond O kicks it back outside. Delvin Go off the mark and a foul. And that'll stop the clock at 5:53. That'll go on King. Put Xavier Alexander at the line yet again.
Yeah, he's lived there tonight. I believe this is his 11th and 12th free throws of the game. James Harden numbers right there.
Yeah, good analogy.
And you look down the bench right now at Alab Pilipinas, and there's no bigger a competitor in Asian basketball than Jimmy Alapag, and you can see his competitive spirit, and you can see the adjustments that he's going to have to make for Alab Pilipinas to come out here and to not provide a performance like this again, because this is definitely not up to their standards, and it's a combination of the Singapore Slingers playing fantastic.
Ball knocked away again. McLean, I believe that's block number 6. My goodness.
He's been everywhere today.
Yeah.
What effort from Anthony McLean. And the timing to get every single ball at the top of the apex, to come over from that weak side. And 80-50 right now for the Singapore Slingers over top of Alab Pilipinas.
Unbelievable. I never would have thought this coming to this. I knew Singapore would give a good account of themselves because you know, the position that they found themselves in, and they're a very proud team, and they've got very good coaching, and this is a position that they're not accustomed to being in. So, you know, sometimes, Scotty, as you know, as a player and a coach, that sometimes it's just that one game that you need to turn things around. We saw this last year with Mono Vampire.
Yeah.
But we saw this last year with CLS, who also turned their season around. So sometimes you can point back to a specific game, a specific time in your season where things turn on its head, and then you never look back. And hopefully for the Slingers, if you're a Slinger fan, this is that sort of a moment. And of course, the Slingers taking full advantage of it right now in front of a packed house. So that's even got to be icing on the cake right there.
Yeah, and this is going to create a big buzz for next Sunday when Singapore plays Mono Vampire here on the 19th.
Yeah.
And you talk about the coaching adjustments that Coach Neo and Coach Johnson have made. They've obviously made some adjustments offensively as well as defensively, changing different defenses, a little bit of full court pressing, a little bit of zoning, a little bit of trapping, and that's got Alab out of their rhythm, and they've been frustrated with those changes all throughout most of the game.
Yeah, and not letting Alab get into the open court very much, and sometimes Alab, as we said before, have shot themselves in the foot. They've missed some easy leaners, they've missed some layups. DeGuire off the mark. Alexander with another rebound. So we tick it down to the 5:30 mark, and the Singapore Slingers will rise to 2 and 4. Alab Pilipinas will go 5 and 3. I don't think I'm jumping the gun there at all. But right now it's just a matter of winding time off the clock. Gets his man in the air, leaning forward. No good. DeGuire picking it off. Oohs and ahs from the crowd. Brickman, kick back outside. DeGuire. Wyatt, whistle, holding on. That'll go on Delvin Go.
And there's Wyatt again, coming off the ball screen, the little push dribble, splits the hedge, and just his body control for not being the best athlete on the floor is tremendously impressive. How he always gets to the spot that he wants to get to because of his basketball intelligence as well as his great handle.
Harakat inside. Brickman. Good anticipation by Alexander, but somebody not at home. And again, another example we were talking about, Scotty, missing these easy shots. It's been a theme all day for Alab Pilipinas. If they've missed one of those, they've missed 8.
Yeah, 33 and 27% now for Alab Pilipinas.
Ball movement, nice and crisp by the Slingers. Elliott. Ellicott working on him, the reach in. That will be the 4th team foul on Alab Pilipinas.
And Kirkwood did a pretty good job chesting up there against the bigger Marcus Elliott. And Cleve Wyatt, I believe, got called for his hand in the cookie jar there, just trying to get a little swipe on the basketball to get Elliott away from that post-up.
Elliott. Ooh, what a crunching screen. That's going to be an offensive foul on Delvin Go, I think.
Yeah, and the Singapore Slinger fans are getting a little chant going, say, "We want Raj." And the fan favorite here, the hometown hero in Singapore, they're trying to get him a couple minutes here towards the end of the game.
Well, I'm sure we'll see him. I'm sure Alexander will get a little bit of a blow too, so the last 2.5, 3 minutes might be a little bit interesting as Singapore, no doubt, if they can keep this pace right here, keep this lead going right here, will do just that. Brickman, the runner.
Jason Brickman with nice touch there, floating it over top, but going left-handed, coming back to his right with the floater. That's a very nice shot by the Long Island University alum.
Alexander way downstairs to McLean. Nice hustle there by DeGuire to no avail. Singapore will keep possession.
And Chuck, you talk about the popularity of the ABL here now. We even have former NBA players coming to watch the game in Rolando Blackman, the 4-time NBA All-Star with the Dallas Mavericks, and parlayed his career and ended his career in New York. And it's pretty cool to see him here appreciating the ABL and what a fantastic product it has now.
That's right. Hats off to him. He's thinking about making Singapore a home. DeGuire. Oh my goodness. Still DeGuire. McLean with the block.
The lead leader, Anthony McLean, Truck Shiner, is he on fire tonight? His 7th block of the game.
Put a cherry on top of that icing. 3:20 to go. Elliott yo-yoing outside. Bounce pass into McLean. McLean over the top for 2, no good. Rebound by Brickman. He's off to the races down that right-hand side, behind the back, high up into the air. McLean or Alexander picks it off. So under 3 minutes to go. Still 80-50.
Very interested in seeing Xavier Alexander's stat line at the end of this game here.
Hopefully we'll get an interview with him. Can't think of anybody else. Obviously the man of the match, Elliott with a miss, back rimming. Ellicott again, over on the sideline, Raj. You hear that cheer coming up from the crowd. Backup jumper is going to be off the mark, but right there. And 1, foul on McLean. That large wingspan.
Again,
So DeGuire will go to the line.
Sam DeGuire has 13 points now in 16 minutes. He almost has as many points as minutes played. And that's the advantage of him being out of, I can't say it enough, him being out of foul trouble in the basketball game for Alab. Absolutely.
Well, what a comeback by McLean. A little bit maligned last week. Looked like Chris Charles got the better of him a little bit. He was huffing and puffing up and down the court. But remember, that's also a function of the Slingers playing 3 games in 5 days.
Very good point, Chuck.
It's tough on anybody.
What a response from Anthony McLean.
Yeah, coming back and having a simply dominant performance in front of the packed house here at the OCBC Arena, and completing the 3-point play is Sam DeGuire. So they creep to within 25 with 2:25 to go here in the 4th quarter.
And
Chuck
Coach Jimmy
Schreiner and Scotty McKinnon, so happy you could spend part of your Sunday afternoon with us. Excuse me, Scotty.
Sorry, and Coach Jimmy's kind of throwing the white flag here with taking out Sam DeGuire with 2:25 left and a 25-point game.
Rob to throw the screen. Alexander. Look for him to get some time too. Rod with the shot, gonna be short. Tried to feed him. Brickman ahead of Rod. Finishes it up. So definitely in trash time now.
Very intelligent play by Brickman there to cut off Raj and get between him and the basket so he had a direct line to the rim.
Elliott working on Calicut. Oh boy, sloppy play there by Singapore. Brickman through the trees. Also Tae Din Lung in the game for Singapore. Long 3 is good. Splash by number 2, Jeremiah Gray. So now 80-57. Check that, 80-60. So just goes to show you, 30-point lead to a 20-point lead in a matter of like an eye blink.
Yeah, and those 3 local guards, Brickman, Gray, and Heading, can really put the ball in the basket. Those are guys who have competed at the highest level collegiately in the States, and they are tremendous basketball players. And in the blink of an eye, like you said, there's 10-point run by Alab Pilipinas on Jason Brickman getting to the rim and then kick into a wide open Jeremiah Gray for 3.
Well, what a job by Alab Pilipinas to go out and get these young guys, huh, Scotty? I mean, 23, 24. These are guys that you can build a team around, and hopefully guys that are going to hang around for the next 2 or 3 years. So you've got continuity. That has been one thing with this league. You know, sometimes guys, they come, they go. You know, basketball players being what they are, trying to, you know, maximize their presence wherever they have to go in the world to make a buck. I mean, it stands to reason. Okay, well, let's go out and get some of these young, hungry ball players and see what they can do in this league. And so far, except for this game, they've been, you know, it's been good for a lot of Filipinos. So they'll probably leave here at 5-3 and still be, you know, 600 winning percentage.
Yeah,
good enough. Looks like with a parity in this league, you're not going to. No team's going to go, you know, 26-4 or anything like that. So all hats off to a lot of Filipinos for getting this far so far. But Singapore Slingers, a crucial home win for them and a statement win for them, and hopefully this will get them back where they need to be.
Yeah, and I love the word you said, parity, Chuck. That's why it makes the ABL so exciting. There's 10 teams who legitimately could win this championship. You saw it last year with Mono Vampire finishing 8th and beating Formosa, the #1 seed in the quarterfinals there, as well as Alab Pilipinas losing to Hong Kong, the 7th seed. So this parity is special here, and if you don't bring your A game, it ends up being a 20-point victory just like this.
Yeah, exactly. Singapore, in their 4 losses, 3 of them have been by single digits. Their only double-digit loss was in Formosa, 80-68, and even that game was one that they led throughout the first half. So Singapore trying to identify the shortcomings of their game and trying to erase those. And they took a big step in doing just that today behind this guy here, Xavier Alexander, who's 1 point away from hitting the magic 30 points. 1:23 to go here, and there he is right there, 30-point game for Xavier Alexander.
And he's gonna get a well-deserved round of applause right here. The reigning ABL MVP, Xavier Alexander, he could not have done much more tonight. And I think he took it a little bit personal when Alab went underneath the ball screen to start the game, and essentially saying that he couldn't shoot it, and that aggressiveness carried over into the second half.
Yeah, miss there by Gray. Go with the rebound. Elliott will bring it up. Just over a minute to play here, and Singapore taking care of business here at the OCBC Arena. Tay downstairs, Raj. Nice little move, and he's fouled, so he'll go to the free throw line.
Nimble feet from Lavin Raj there. Leans in, puts all his weight. Reverse pivot, spin, drop step to the rim. Nice little up fake from the 19-year-old.
Say, nice little drop step. Just the way you draw it up as a coach, right? Check it out again. There it is. Little head jab, too, to go with it.
Yeah. And what an experience for Lavin Raj to play under these bigs the last few years. And John Fields, one of the best ABL imports that we've had in a long time here, as well as Anthony McLean. And what an opportunity for him to learn and gain experience and learn how to play the game of basketball the right way.
Well, his opportunity or his number got called with the loss of Russell Lowe this year. Remember, Russell Lowe was a guy, and the crowd goes berserk as he drops the point in, his first point of the game. So 23-point lead, under a minute to go. High in the air, off the mark. What do we have? A foul. That'll stop the clock at 43 and a half. The foul will go on. So you think Raj, number 57, checking into the game too for Singapore. That's Ung Shi Yu, the 19-year-old, 6'6", 205-pound forward.
Every time I don't think Jeremiah Gray can do anything more athletic, he misses his layup, and his double jump is unbelievable to get the ball at the apex and put it in on the rebound. So it's just, this guy is a tremendous athlete, a world-class athlete.
Elliott, back screen by Raj, down to Raj. Raj, spin move again on the baseline. Go. Did he walk with it? No, he did not. Stayed with it. Credit where credit's due. Off the glass, up and in. He's got three.
Lavin Raj igniting the OCBC Arena.
Downstairs, foul, and count it. Turnabout fair play. Rangel will go to the line for opportunity to make it a three-point play.
Yeah, nice little response there from Rangel there. He'd had been posted up twice in a row by Lavin Raj, and he wanted that basketball. You could tell when he ran down the court, he had him pinned underneath the rim for about a good 10 seconds there.
So that's the score, 85-62, and Elliott will exit the game, so we'll have all local boys in there for the final 17.1 seconds. Rangel at the line. Well, not to belabor the point, but again, just with the doctor order for the Singapore Slingers after three tough losses. And, you know, sometimes that's just what you have to fight through. But the reward sometimes is like this. So they will be invigorated with this win. So will their fans.
And we talked about the beginning of the game. Sorry, Chuck. We talked about the beginning of the game that the game had to be in the 70s. And Singapore, you cannot credit their defense enough, keeping it to 60, the highest scoring team in the league, to 64 points.
It's unbelievable. 31 points below their norm. Singapore right there in the 80s. So that'll do it, 85-64 in favor of the Singapore Slingers here at the OCBC Arena. They break the schneid. They break the three-game losing streak. They climb to 2-4. And likely out of the basement as well. Alab Pilipinas on the other side of the ledger go to 5-3. We'll have to wait and see if that is enough to keep them in a tie for first place. But job well done by the Singapore Slingers, and that guy there, Xavier Alexander, number 15, who did everything a player could do to will his team on his back and to get out of here with a win. 30 points by my count, 9 rebounds and 9 assists. So maybe not quite a triple-double, but who cares? He is a guy that said, come on, guys, follow my lead. He set the example in the first half. Singapore picked it up. Got to love the effort by number 7, Marcus Elliott. Hit 4 or 5 threes in the second half. Maybe you can say, well, a couple of them, the game was not in doubt. It doesn't matter. He's a guy that they need to be consistent with that three-point shot. Delvin Go, not much offensively tonight, but heck, what a job he did in giving cover for McLean. And what about the game that Anthony McLean had? 18 points or 20 points, something like that, 13 boards and about 4 or 5 blocks, Scotty. Just an all-around great performance by the Slingers.
Yeah, so you said it, Chuck. Anthony McLean, 6'8" from the field, 18 points, 13 rebounds, 7 block shots. Going to go across to Xavier Alexander, 9-16 from the field, 11-14 from the foul line, and that showed how aggressive he was, how many times he got to the line. Xavier Alexander almost with the quadruple double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists,
wow,
8 steals.
So did hit the triple double and almost a quadruple double, and that's almost unheard of at any level. So Xavier Alexander, last year's MVP, getting it done, and all smiles here at the OCBC Arena for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Well, you know it's not going to be a magic carpet ride throughout the season. Hats off to them coming into an environment that they knew was going to be tough, especially with Singapore coming off those 3 losses. You knew that they were going to put up a committed fight, and that's exactly what happened. And they cut Alab Pilipinas on an off day. Well, Singapore had everything firing for them, and that's somehow the way the cookie crumbled. And again, to go back to the parity, what we've all talked about from the beginning of the season, from the get-go. Any day, any team can win. As we look at the final stats, look at the rebounds, pretty much even. The assist, look at Singapore Slingers. We talked about them being 9th in the league in assists. They actually led today, 20-14. Field goals, 29-72. Marginally better for the Slingers. 24-70 is not going to get it in too many places. That's under 40%. 8-21, Singapore much better from beyond the arc. 4-14, not that great for Alab. Blocks 11-4, huge day for Anthony McLean. Steals 9-3. Turnovers only 8 for Singapore. What a job they did taking care of the ball, Scotty, to 15. Second chance points, 14-10. Bench points, still not where Singapore wants to be, but they took up the slack in other areas such as defense and rebounding. Points from turnovers, 24-5. That was huge.
Oh, that's the difference. 24 points from turnovers to compared to 5, and that ability of Alab to not take care of the basketball. And you look at their assists, generally averaging 26 assists a game. They only had 14 today, and that's a credit to Singapore and their discipline and fundamental defense, and obviously their game plan and strategy of what they had to do defensively against Alab Stars today.
That helping defense switches from man-to-man to 1-3-1 to 2-3 to 1-2-2. We saw it all today from the Singapore Slingers, and a happy day to be a Slingers fan, and happy day for you if you are a Slingers fan at home. So that will do it here from the OCBC Arena for Chuck Schreiner, Scott McKinnon. Final score, Slingers 85, Alab 64. Make sure you're with us next Sunday. Mono Vampire coming to town. It'll be a big one. So long for now. Bye-bye. Slingers just when they need it. And the most valuable player, the best player in the league. And I know you don't like to hear that, Xavier, but you proved it today once again. Almost a quadruple double, 31 points, 12 boards, 12 assists, 8 steals. I mean, I know that you were disappointed the last 3 games, but you came out with a chip on your shoulder today, no doubt about that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I feel like the last couple games, maybe 2 games, I've been letting my team down. And like I said in the interview after the last game, I just got to be that person for this team, and I can't get down on myself, and when my teammates see that, they kind of get down as well. So I just want to do everything possible for my team to win today, and they did a great job. They did a great job responding to the game, for sure.
Defensively, you started showing them a whole lot of looks. It looks like they're having problems with it. The pressure got to them. They are a young team. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but pressure defense, Singapore defense, can't say enough about the effort you guys did on the D end.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, eventually we're going to get it, man. And I feel like our team been 4 or 5 plays away from being 5-1. So, we just got to continue. We got a couple of bad breaks. We just got to continue going on and continue playing Slingers basketball.
Now, there's always a point in anybody's season that if it's a successful season, they can hark back to the game that was a turnaround, the game that lit a spark underneath the team, and hopefully this will be the one. Now, you got another tough game coming up, Mono Vampire. They're not easy, coming here in 1 week's time. And I know you don't want to look ahead right now. You want to at least enjoy today, and you deserve it. But, I imagine it's going to be a tough week of practice, not much rest.
Yeah, man, we got to continue hanging our heads on, continue to play in defense. And when we play defense, our offense is going to take care of itself. As you see, like I was telling Marcus at halftime, man, he kind of got a bad break. But if he just continue on in the second half, things will start looking forward to him, man. Like I said last game, man, I had one of my worst games in my 5 years as a Slinger, man. And I already had my mind made up right after the game that I was going to come here and do everything possible to show that's not me at all.
Well, great players had their greatest games against the greatest teams. This was a team that was number one in the standings, and you did just that. Congratulations to Xavier. You are a pillar of this community. We're very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you to all the fans for continue to root for us, and thank you for all the, my family at home. Let's just keep going. Let's keep building on it.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, thank you.
Open is Regulus. Back-to-back triples for Mono Vampire. Only 7 remaining. He makes his move. Young forces it up and in!
CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Lai, everyone for the Black Bears finding the bottom of the net.
Leaky with a big steal. Leaky for 3. That goes in. What a play!
This broadcast of the ASEAN Basketball League may not be reused in any way, shape, or form without an express written consent of the ABL.